That day, I set foot into my graphic design class quite numb. I sat in the same seat and prepared to feel stupid. This class was all based on programming I had never seen before, and I had been struggling this whole semester to keep up with it. We started the class like normal and went through the criteria for our next project. My professor went through all of the basic information that we needed in order to complete the assignment. This was odd, however, because he went through all the material so quickly. He's an amazing teacher who typically takes his time and makes sure that we understand everything that's going on. I then got frustrated because this was the skill that I had been struggling with for quite some time, and he was speeding through it all. Then my professor pulled up an old blog post of his, something from a trip that he took with the faculty some time ago. It seemed to depict visiting company campuses and what he learned there. He then stepped away from the podium, sat on the table in the front of the class, and then he heavily changed the subject and the air of the class discussion. He started by talking about real life. He explained that in our educational lives, we have been pacified and spoon-fed knowledge. We were told to sit down, stay quiet, and did as we were told and everything would be okay. That if we listened, we would pass the test and the class. We were taught one way to solve problems, and we were all held by one standardized test. He then made the bold statement, "I do not think that grades matter. Not in the long run, anyway." He then mentioned different attributes that differentiate companies like LinkedIn and Facebook, both successful, but both have very different purposes and cultures. He posed the question, what do they have in common? What makes them successful? I sat perplexed. I could think of a host of reasons why each were successful in their own right, but not any that they really shared. He then proceeded to give us a list of qualities that each successful company had and how we can apply those attributes to ourselves to break the education barrier that we had been conditioned to follow. First, he talked about having passion projects, something that we were excited about that we were not required to do. He mentioned how people need to take time, sit down, and be involved. He touched on how important it is to find passion outside of the required things in life. If you find passion in what you do, you're more motivated to do it. He also mentioned 9 times out of 10 that passion will be found outside of a classroom. It'll be found in a music room, in a dance studio, a good book, an art exhibit. The second topic was write concisely. He talked about the different platforms that we have on social media. Most of them go without a word count, but because of the 140 character limit on Twitter, there's a demand to write in a short, concise amount. He talked about how it applies to design and how that would work in the design aspect. To get our message across quickly and efficiently, that requires our generation to wade through all the complaining and find something meaningful to discuss and talk about. The third was figuring things out. He told us that there was no training in life or some of the jobs that you will get. You need to figure things out for yourself. Teach ourselves. This will inspire us to learn more and to be willing to work as an individual. We will not have to be reliant on others for all of the answers, just our own gumption. In turn, we will be in tune with how we learn individually. When we know how to learn, we will be better able to adapt and to change, which always inevitably comes. The fourth subject was rock the boat. This by far was my favorite. He talked about how we are losing innovation in today's society. Not only do we need creative people, but we need people who are a little disruptive, people who shift the paradigm and rock the boat. This made the whole class buzz. There was an empowering feeling that made us all want to get up and get moving. I sat there satisfied with the different things I had already done. I reflected at the internship that I had just finished up at a minor league baseball team and the different opportunities that have stemmed from that experience alone. I had a great education that I'm excited about. I have great friends and family. I have other projects outside that I'm working on, and I love my job. Not only did this boost my self-esteem on the things that I already do, but it inspired me to continually learn. It's easy to learn when you can sit in classes and just have to study for the test and projects, but there's always other things that we have to learn outside of the classroom. He mentioned that if we only do what is urgent and not necessary, what is important, then we will miss out on learning things about ourselves that we can do with our lives. My professor made a point that day. Don't just sit and conform to the education mentality. Rock the boat. Be clear in what you say. Try something different, even be disruptive. Not only will we learn about life, but we will actually be living it. Thank you.